EU trade ministers have been holding talks in Luxembourg on trade ties with China. Bilateral relations between the bloc and Beijing have been increasingly frosty, with the two sides at odds over Taiwan, the war in Ukraine and human rights issues. Rosie Bircher joins us live with more from Brussels. Rosie, what are the possible outcomes expected from today's talks on trade amid those rising tensions between Europe and China?
Well, EU ministers are taking stock of relations with Beijing when it comes to trade, and they are discussing the possibility of a new edition of the EU-China high-level trade and economic dialogue. That's a talks format which has not taken place since 2020. While we're unlikely to get any breakthrough on that today, it's something that needs to be agreed by both sides, and Beijing is not represented at these talks. This is still something which, even if there were to be a breakthrough, is unlikely to be able to prompt any sort of fundamental reset of these relations, which have certainly been tricky of late. Now, the EU and China in 2020 agreed in principle to a major trade and investment deal, but that has been on ice for more than a year now, due to China and the European Union trading sanctions and counter-sanctions over allegations of human rights abuses in Xinjiang. Now, that is, I've been told by some EU politicians, deep in the freezer and unlikely to be coming out any time soon. However, China is a very important trading partner for the European Union, and European Commission Executive Vice President Valdis Dombrovskis, on his way into these talks, said this is a complex relationship, but it's important that Brussels finds ways to navigate this complexity.
Looking ahead, will the bloc seek to pacify Beijing, or perhaps a decoupling is on the horizon?
I think a decoupling might seem unlikely, but so does any sort of rapprochement. That's because there are at least two other big bones of contention in these relations between Brussels and Beijing. First of all, the European Commission has opened a case at the World Trade Organization accusing China of economic coercion toward Lithuania. That's linked to a diplomatic spat over Vilnius's ties with Taiwan. And then on Thursday, the European Commission held an upgraded trade dialogue also with Taiwan, in a move that is very likely to be unpopular in Beijing. The EU would like to up cooperation with Taiwan in areas like semiconductors. Given that unpopularity and given this raft of issues still to be discussed and ironed out between Beijing and Brussels, any thawing out of these frosty relations is for now not foreseen.
Rosie Bircher in Brussels, thank you for that.